Market conditions majority bullish. Futures up 0.12 this morning. Markets at all-time highs, continuing the overall expansion of these all-time highs in this new trend. We've got the internal breadth still sitting right around that 61%. Number of stocks above the 50-day moving average in the S&P 500, 60%. It was majority bullish at 14 yesterday, and a little bit of softness pulling back. That puts us at 10 and 4. I mentioned yesterday that when it's compressed and you get big moves one way or the other, that can turn this indicator pretty quickly, but still overall bullish, just not extreme to the upside, moving in that bullish direction. With this current rally, we're seeing VIX pull back to 1455, so sub 15 on VIX, majority bearish, indication for more bullishness, or at least there's no fear in the market as of right now. That's holding right around that 14 number. It can get down into the 12s. Right here kind of got down into the 13s, and even back here a little bit further. So we're still just slightly elevated, which is probably normal for where we're at in this trend of the S&P 500, still expanding all-time highs, moving into that pattern. We've got Dow Jones Industrial Average into supply, majority bullish here. See if we can get a breakout on this. Has yet to give us a new all-time high, but really feels like it wants to, as it's just gradually pressing towards those highs. That could be a decent breakout. If we were to get the Dow to break out, in addition to the small cap names that we're seeing move higher in the Russell 2000, that could also push markets as a whole higher here and continue this overall uptrend. We'll take a look at the Russell while we're sitting right here, tagging that supply block, still majority bullish, starting that expansion, but could be running into some resistance right here. We'll see if that is the case. Triple Qs, come back to that one here. We've got majority bullish at 14. Fib tool is snapped to the all-time highs, which was yesterday, and potential retracement, possibly back to that 1574 range right there where my dotted line is. That's the pullback retracement. That's the breakout zone of this most recent pattern. USO got that bounce. We talked about that 50% retracement zone. Swing low, swing high, 50%. Let's see if we can grab this one right here. And sitting right at that level, up 1.5%. See if that continues, if that demand starts to come in from these levels, or if it's going to need to dip back down just a little bit to align with some support over here at that 618 location for oil. That could really be a demand area. If it can't hold this 50% level, that'll be the next place to be watching. Gold continuing its overall uptrend, getting a little red blip here today. Majority bullish, still at 10, still in that all-time high, expanded move. 13 now, ticking back to 13 on, it might have been 13 actually already, but not a whole lot happening here. Still a pretty bullish pattern for gold overall. It does not want to retrace. There is nobody selling at these levels, at least as of yet. But nobody interested in buying at these highs either, so you get that tight consolidation on gold. Dollar should be doing the opposite. It is long-term downtrend here, still continuing that overall move lower. 2-year Treasury 372 and majority bearish. The weekly time frame, I like this chart the best, just because you've had, kind of shows where we were at during, right after COVID, when we had interest rates which were basically zero. They obviously can't go any lower than that, so that's why they kind of flatlined right here, and then they expanded rapidly out of that from 0 to up to 5%. That's when we were dealing with the inflation numbers. We needed to slow the economy, or I shouldn't say the Fed slowing the economy, and the bond market anticipating that. So now we've just, a lot of that's already been happening. We're seeing those inflation numbers come back down to normal, and bond prices holding in this range. 2-year has been holding pretty steady right there. Let's take a look at the 10-year also. Similar type price pattern here off of those lows. Rally, we're sitting right at that 429 range on the 2-year Treasury. A couple stock ideas to consider. Not getting a whole lot of names in there today. That sometimes is an indication also of, everything's already moved into new uptrends. Everything's already in rally mode, and not a whole lot of new names moving back into that. Nonetheless, there are some. A couple to take a look at here. QURE, confirmation bar. Really volatile pattern though, but still structurally in that location that we would be interested in. And also one that may be interested. This would be a pretty aggressive trade, but it's a nice looking pattern here, and that is on OPEN. Big rally here from $1 to $4 and retraced back even less than the 618, but it's getting some demand coming back in. It was on pretty light volume, if I recall. No, on super high volume, honestly. That's 322 million shares. So interesting pattern there. That could be a runner. It's already up pre-market here at 328. A volatile speculative type move, but that's the exact pattern that you'd want to see. Big pullback, big run up, pullback, and particularly in one of these names that can run like this, there may be some momentum pent up in OPEN. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day and a great weekend.